So we do know who these are. Sorry, yeah. So we do know who these authors are. We have attestation to
Who
that.
are they?
No, we
Yeah.
don't.
Could I answer? So yeah, the authors are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and you get this
No,
Matthew,
from
Mark,
they're
Luke, John
not.
did not write anything.
yeah.
Phil.
If
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John did not write anything.
yeah, so they
These
just
books were written years after.
so
Like the book of Mark was written at least, I think it was 40 years. The rest, 100, 200, 300 years after.
yeah,
And they
so
were not written by the apostles. The apostles didn't write anything.
yeah, so what you're quoting, what you're quoting when you say that is what we call ultra liberal scholarship.
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
care what
No,
it's called.
the same
The
the thing.
apostles did not write
I'm
anything.
not finished. The thing is the same scholars that you would prove to say they wrote it
They're
200,
not. There
300
are no
years after.
scholars that wrote these
The
books. We
same.
don't know who wrote them.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not saying who. I'm not talking about the pedophiles. I'm saying what you're telling me the dating is erroneous because I can give you scholars
It's
such
not
as Platonism.
erroneous.
I can.
Excuse me. You don't even know who wrote the books.
Yes,
Where
we
are you
do.
getting the dates from?
Yeah, the datings, for example. There are many conservative scholars and not also even moderate scholars who tell us and can say that
No,
the gospels were
listen.
written within the
Whatever
first
scholars, whether
century.
they're Christian
Within
apologists
the
or
first
whatever,
century,
it doesn't make sense because these people you're quoting as having written these books are not the people that wrote these books.
they
They
are.
were written by anonymous authors.
Let me ask you, according to what you're saying, with Gallic Wars, do we not know
We're
who
not
wrote Gallic
talking about
Wars?
Gallic wars. We're
But
talking about the scriptures.
according to your standard, what I'm showing is that you wouldn't know what any book of antiquity is because your standard is erroneous and ahistorical. Historians don't take your
You
standard.
have not shown that, sir.
Dude,
You have not shown it.
I am because she's saying that since the
You have
authorship of the
not shown
gospel,
it, sir. You just made a claim. Show it. Provide the evidence. I can show you evidence that it is
all
not.
right, I can give evidence for my claim. You asked me who wrote the gospels. I told you Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We have externalized
You
when
have not
teachings.
provided evidence that they wrote it, sir.
I'm giving the evidence right
I can show
now.
you evidence that they have not, and that the scholars, biblical scholars, the majority says otherwise,
If you ask,
because they
if you
have
ask,
investigated
if you ask me for evidence, I'm
based on
giving
the
you the evidence.
language, based on the style of writing, etc. And even now, they have something called psychometry, which is computer analysis of the wording and so on. And there's no way,
Yeah,
as none of the gospels have been written nowhere during Jesus' lifetime
yeah. If I could answer,
nor the apostles' lifetime.
yeah, if I could answer, you asked me for evidence. The evidence is that we have church tradition writings going back to the disciples of the apostles and their disciples from the second century as well, or even the late first century.
Yeah, that
Teaching
is the
that the
second
church,
century, not first-hand
the church
accounts.
fathers were
That
given
is the claim
authorship
of
of the
those
why are
gospel.
you
people.
talking about second century instead of first hand account?
No, you don't. Your standard for the authorship is erroneous. Just because they didn't write the authorship
So
in the
if
first
yours is
century
correct,
doesn't mean that they
provides
don't
the
have.
evidence
I just
of
gave you the
yours being
evidence.
correct.
I just gave you the evidence. We have
You
tradition
did
that have
not
done.
give me anything.
If I could
You're telling me about second century.
if I could
I
answer you,
give me eyewitness accounts. Were these Matthew, Mark, Luke, John still living in the second century?
if I could answer you, so you understand, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John written in the first century. Your question about authorship, I'm telling you that the evidence towards their authorship being from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is attested to externally by church tradition from the late
It
first
says
Scripture
here
century
modern
to the
lies.
scholars
second century.
consider these authors anonymous and
You
writing in the late first century.
you see what it said, modern
Paul is
scholars?
credited with writing 13 letters. Those scholars widely accept only 7
Uh-huh.
as definitely authentic
You see what you
letters of
read?
Paul.
You see what it said? You see what you read in the AI you read? Modern scholars, liberal scholars. There are other scholars. You can give a scholar, I can
It
give a
doesn't
scholar.
say modern scholars are
We
Dude,
not
can go
all
scholar
liberal
for scholar.
scholars, sir.
We can go scholar for
No,
scholar.
not all are liberal
You
scholars.
give liberal
Some there are
scholars.
some that are critical
You give
and some
liberal
that are
scholars.
liberal,
I can give other
sir. And
scholars
there are
as
some
well.
conservatives that will tell you the same
Why are you
thing,
gonna cut me off? You want to
sir.
talk? Let's talk. You want
because
I
you
you're
cut
want
you off
speaking
because
Listen.
you're
over
lying.
Rev.
Both of you are talking over each other.
Yeah,
I'm
you
trying to
talk
finish
over
a point.
me.
You're talking over
Yeah,
me
no,
as
you're
well.
My
lying.
mic was, I wasn't even speaking. Rev was speaking. You were trying to speak over him.
No, host. I'm trying to respond. He's cutting me
Rev,
off.
please go ahead.
Like Vesper,
Start. Can you
So
please?
Vesper,
it
Vesper.
say
You see
it
he's cutting me off,
says
right?
that they're not liberal, they're not just liberal, they're critical, they are critical and liberal scholars. And we know that there are some conservatives scholars who will agree that yes, it was not written during the time you claim it is, sir. It is the general consensus is about 65 mark, between 65 to 75 AD, sir.
Right.
So don't come up here and lie.
I'm not lying.
And I don't care too fuss about conservative scholars because they are liars. What they do is lie to maintain their bias towards that.
You've cut me off.
Critical scholars, liberal scholars are not biased. They are trying to look at the text according to what the style of writing, etc. And they provide very good evidence to show that it is not written the time that you are claiming, so-called some conservative scholars try to claim when they don't have good evidence.
If you're so confident, let me respond to you. So, firstly, I agree. I could agree with you that there might be some conservative scholars that agree with these liberal scholars. I have no problem with that. What I'm telling you is that just like
not liberal. That's why I keep interjecting because you're poisoning the well.
You guys see how he's cutting me
No,
off?
you're poisoning the well. You're dishonest.
If you're so confident,
I said it's critical, and all critical scholars are not liberal scholars. Not all critical scholars are liberal scholars. You are being disingenuous.
If you're a man, let me respond. Clown.
Are liberal scholars are being disingenuous.
For example,